Hey, so today I wanted to share something that I've been really excited to talk about. Some of the wildest, most fascinating Venom symbiotes that have ever appeared in Marvel Comics. These symbiotes aren't just cool designs or side characters. They each bring something totally unique to the table, and honestly, a few of them blew my mind the first time I read about them. As we go through the list, I'd really love to hear your thoughts too. Which ones are your favorites? Which ones do you think deserve more attention? Maybe even a full story arc or a movie? Let's get into it. Let's start at the origin. The literal god of the symbiotes, Knull. Long before the stars were born, Knull ruled over a dark void, content in the silence until the Celestials appeared and lit up the cosmos. Enraged by this intrusion of light, Knull struck the first blow with a blade of living darkness, the All-Black, the Necro Sword. That same sword would later empower characters like Gore, the God Butcher. But Knull didn't stop there. He began forging living weapons from the abyss, creating the symbiotes as tools of destruction, linking them into a hive mind under his control. His biggest moment came during King in Black, where he invaded Earth, covering the planet in darkness and defeating cosmic-level heroes with ease. He was unstoppable, until Eddie Brock, with the power of the Enigma Force, became the god of light and took him down. Knull's legacy forever changed how we understand symbiotes. Now let's fast forward from cosmic beginnings to a terrifying look into the future. Imagine if Eddie Brock, after everything he's been through, ended up becoming the villain. That's Meridius. He's a dark future version of Eddie who has mastered time and identity, turning himself into the ultimate manipulator. He resides in the Garden of Time, a pocket dimension outside reality, where he pulls strings across the timeline like a puppet master. His goal isn't to destroy, it's to control every version of himself and every path the symbiote legacy might take. He created and manipulated entities like Bedlam and Codex, essentially using versions of himself as tools. What's haunting is how calm and rational he is. Meridius believes he's preserving order, even as he erases free will. His war isn't fought with brute strength, but with strategy, patience, and inevitability. He's the ultimate what-if of Eddie Brock's life, a cautionary tale of unchecked power and self-obsession. Speaking of versions of Eddie, let's get into one that's as wild as it is dangerous. The Arachniote is unlike anything else in symbiote history. It wasn't born, it was made. Spliced together using symbiote matter and spider DNA, it was designed to exist independently, with no need for a host. That makes it a direct challenge to the symbiote norm, and even to Knull's ancient rules. Its existence proves symbiotes can evolve, and that someone, or something, is willing to push the boundaries of what these creatures can be. When it clashed with both Spider-Man and Venom, the battle was unpredictable and brutal. The Arachniote could mimic spider-like abilities, but amplified them with a monstrous twist, leaping, crawling, and adapting mid-fight. Venom had to disrupt its molecular stability using sonic frequencies, but even that didn't destroy it, just stalled it. The Arachniote vanishing afterward leaves the door open for a terrifying return. Let's go from genetic horror to one of the angriest, most brutal symbiotes out there. Bedlam is what happens when rage takes over, fully and violently. A massive, hulking version of Eddie Brock from another timeline, Bedlam is less about intellect and more about unstoppable force. His presence is intimidating. His form is grotesque and terrifying, embodying everything monstrous about the symbiote bond. Bedlam doesn't strategize, he smashes. He's fueled by deep-rooted pain and a desire to obliterate anything in his way, especially anyone connected to Eddie's bloodline. His most unforgettable moment was his brutal showdown with Dylan Brock. It wasn't just a fight, it was a psychological battle. Bedlam represented everything Dylan feared he could become. The sheer physical punishment Bedlam unleashed pushed Dylan to his breaking point. But rather than succumb, Dylan learned to master his bond, proving he was more than just his legacy. Bedlam may have lost that fight, but his existence remains a dark warning of what Eddie or Dylan could turn into if they ever truly gave in. And speaking of legacy, let's talk about the next generation of symbiote evolution. Dylan Brock is unlike any character in the Venom mythos. He's not just the son of Eddie, he's the first natural-born human symbiote hybrid. His very existence rewrites the rules of what symbiotes can become. Dylan isn't a host, he's a part of the symbiote family tree. That means he has access to unique powers, like commanding symbiotes with his mind and resisting hive control from beings like Knull or Carnage. He's still learning to balance these abilities, but the potential is massive. Dylan's big test came during his confrontation with Carnage. Not only did he fight back, he took control, literally commanding symbiotes to act on his will, something no other character has done before. His journey is filled with themes of identity, inheritance, and control. He's not just Eddie's son, he's the bridge between two worlds, and possibly the key to the future of all symbiotes. Now, let's leave legacy behind and dive into the terrifying world of tech-enhanced symbiotes. What do you get when you fuse a symbiote with bleeding-edge technology? The Extremebiote. This creature is a hybrid of organic symbiote matter and artificial intelligence, blurring the line between living being and machine. Unlike traditional symbiotes, the Extremebiote can interface with electronic systems, replicate itself across networks, and adapt at speeds far beyond natural evolution. It doesn't just bond with a host, it upgrades them. Iron Man tried to shut it down before it could integrate with Stark-level AI, but even with his suit's advanced tech, he was nearly outmatched. The Extremebiote could predict his moves, hack systems mid-fight, and transform its host's body into deadly mechanical extensions. It took a calculated EMP blast to force it into dormancy, but there's no guarantee it stayed down. The idea that symbiotes can evolve through tech opens the door to some truly frightening possibilities, especially in a world driven by data and machines. Next up, let's bring some mythology into the madness. Now this one is wild. Serpent is what happens when a symbiote crosses into myth. This creature found its way to Asgard and bonded with an ancient enchanted warrior, creating something equal parts cosmic horror and Norse legend. The result was terrifying, a symbiote that not only retained its usual ferocity, but also absorbed mystical energy, amplifying its strength far beyond anything seen on Earth. Thor, of course, had to step in, and this wasn't a casual fight. Serpent pushed the god of thunder to his limits. It took everything Thor had, including the raw divine power of Mjolnir, to separate the symbiote from its host. But even then, the residue of its influence lingered in Asgard. Serpent's existence is proof that symbiotes aren't bound by science fiction. They can step into magical realms and adapt, evolve, and terrify in completely new ways. From cosmic gods and enchanted warriors, let's swing into something a bit more adorable, but still deadly. Don't let the name fool you. Princess is one of the fiercest symbiotes out there, but what makes her stand out isn't her power, it's her bond. She doesn't behave like a weapon or a parasite. She acts more like a fiercely protective companion. Her relationship with Deadpool is surprisingly wholesome. Well, as wholesome as anything involving Wade Wilson can be. There's love, loyalty, and even a bit of puppy energy, until someone threatens her family. One of the most unexpected moments came when Deadpool and Princess were ambushed by a crew of mutant-hunting cyborgs. Princess didn't hesitate. She unleashed claws, tendrils, and raw ferocity, taking down multiple enemies with brutal efficiency. But what caught everyone off guard was how she responded afterward, nuzzling Wade like a proud guard dog. She's a reminder that even among chaos and violence, there can be heart, and even symbiotes can form real emotional bonds. Now let's close things out with one of the stealthiest, smartest symbiotes in the game. Sleeper is a symbiote that trades brute force for chemical warfare. As the 7th spawn of Venom, he was created in secret and hidden from Knull, which already made him unique. But what really sets Sleeper apart is his ability to manipulate chemical compounds. Everything from hallucinogens to paralytics to pheromones. He's a spy, a saboteur, and a tactical nightmare all rolled into one sleek alien form. In one of his most impressive feats, Sleeper infiltrated a high-security AIM facility, developing anti-symbiote weaponry. Using his chemical powers, he slipped past guards undetected, disabled systems by corroding metal, and caused confusion by releasing neurotoxins into the air. His final act? Taking down a prototype weapon before vanishing without a trace. Sleeper's subtlety and intelligence make him a totally different breed of symbiote. One built for espionage, not just combat. And that's my deep dive into some of the wildest and most fascinating Venom symbiotes out there. Honestly, this list could have been twice as long. There's just so much crazy lore in the symbiote world. But now, I want to hear from you. If Marvel gave you the green light to make a full series or movie about just one of these symbiotes, which one would you choose and why? Or is there another symbiote you think deserves the spotlight even more? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading and replying. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor. Hit that like button, share it with your fellow comic fans, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you in the next deep dive.